Now, crime intelligence features prominently in this matter, and for some time the entity has been criticized for systemic failures and has also been marred by corruption allegations. Day 2 of the Madlanga Commission detonated with explosive testimony from KZN Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, who directly implicated 2 MPs in political interference and crime intelligence operations, and revealed that crucial evidence he submitted to the Zondo Commission in 2011 was ignored. We speak to Security Expert Andy Mashaile to share some insights on the mandate of the unit. He joins us now live. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, what we heard there in that soundbite is Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi saying that he couldn't sit back and allow history to repeat itself. I mean, he speaks about executive overreach continuing to erode law enforcement integrity, testifying that former Police Minister Nathi Mthethwa and former President Jacob Zuma were among senior officials who allegedly undermined police operations. I mean, what does all of this explosive information tell us?
It tells us of the systemic weaknesses that had now become a permanent feature of how the system, the ecosystem operates to create criminality and or weaknesses within law enforcement to flourish. The presentation by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi today and yesterday suggested one thing to me, that if he had not come out into the open and shared these frustrations, these gremlins in the system were going to continue to slow down the system to such an extent that the system collapses.
Yeah, because he also spoke about how he had opened a case of defeating the ends of justice against those who tried to prevent the political killings task team from uncovering the web of corruption, even in Gauteng. I mean, that in itself points to several issues from the internal hierarchy as we try and make sense of the bigger picture, the impact of what happens inside and how it affects the rest of the country.
Quite correct. The system and those who drive the system, the generators and drivers of the system, understand very well, know very well it is in their system that the elements of crime, amongst others, have to do with authority, have to do with intention, have to do with opportunity, and have to do with the ability to commit a crime. So all these things that General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi outed suggest that there was an intention to commit crime, all in the interest of a few individuals in the system, or a few individuals who would have benefited from the collapse and the chaos, as well as the rot in the ecosystem of the criminal justice cluster system.
Because Mkhwanazi touches on a festering issue in South Africa, historic corruption suspicions relating to crime intelligence. What are the core functions of crime intelligence in terms of a deeper understanding on the role that crime intelligence should exactly be playing, as opposed to some of the big revelations that we're now seeing and hearing from Mkhwanazi?
Crime intelligence all over the world is a covert institution, meaning it operates under the radar. No one who is not in the space is supposed to know what they do, why they do it, who are they doing it to, who they are tracing, and who they are not supposed to be tracing, whose phone calls are they listening, whose messages are they reading. And this happens for the purpose of preventing crime when it has not happened or when it's about to happen. When it has happened, it becomes the responsibility of crime intelligence to combat crime by gathering data, what you and I would call intelligence, or gathering information, converting it into strategic and tactical intelligence that would be aimed at the prevention of crime, the combating of crime, the creation of a safe and a secure environment for the citizens, as well as for the security of the state, with their sister organization, who would be your state security agents, either internal or external.
With the names mentioned, the names such as former President Jacob Zuma, former Police Minister Natim Tetwa being mentioned, I suppose the big question now is what that information will mean for who else comes forward to testify before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. I mean, what are the possibilities, looking at whether former President Jacob Zuma could be called, or whether President Cyril Ramaphosa himself could be called to answer to some questions?
The way and manner in which General Mkhwanazi has sequenced the events and has also brought together boxes of evidence, or packages of evidence, says one thing to both you and I, and that thing is there are people who have created weaknesses in the system of crime intelligence, by extension the criminal justice cluster, your law enforcement agency, as well as your prosecuting authority, your national prosecuting authority. And it now becomes the domain of Ntate Madlanga and all the other colleagues sitting on that bench in that inquiry, to call those people to come and put their side of the story. Mpo, I'm excitedly waiting for the cross-examination that comes through, as well as the last part of the commission that would then see General Mkhwanazi coming back onto that hot chair and countering what came out of the woodwork of the cross-examination.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening.